Hey, it's Jabbo. Welcome to BrickTsar, your home for vintage Lego. This is not a haul. This is going to be picking an eBay order, payo. We couldn't figure out the name for it. It's not a Pablo, but this is an order from eBay that Brick Trains ordered, and I've got it all boxed and ready to go. I already got the label on here, so I'm going to go through that whole process, including my panic, and then we'll come back. So this side of the basement, I've been slowly taking these shelves and taking stuff off of it. Like I got to get stuff like this off of here, and then putting on it things that are in eBay. Eventually, I would like all of it to only be eBay stuff. There's still some random things like these jars, that Atari thing, my 8mm film converter, but a lot of this stuff up there, all that's on eBay right now. This is stuff I got to add to eBay. A lot of that's on eBay. It's not in any particular order, but I had a moment of panic because Brick Trains Joey just bought an item out of my eBay store and I couldn't find it. I thought it was on the top shelf and I'm like, where is it? And then I noticed it's behind all this Scooby-Doo stuff. It scared me for a minute. I was like, oh no, did I list something and have already sold it? So he has bought the Toys R Us limited edition truck. I wonder if he's going to build it or is Dakota going to build it. So I'm going to take this over and pack it up. So don't want this to get any more damage than it already is. I mean, I did list on there it had some minor creasing. There's a little crease right there, I think. But it's still, the seals are all intact. And I'm really hoping that Joey is going to bust these seals open and build this bad boy. But if he chooses to keep it sealed, that's perfectly fine too. But if he does open it, please go, and he does a video on it, please go support him. So he paid sealed prices for it. And so I think this Amazon box will work. Yeah, it's just the right size, and plus to give it some cushion. But I don't like shipping stuff that looks like it came from Amazon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this box up. And usually you start with, actually I got to cut the tape on this side. Hold on. All right. All right, so where the seam is, just kind of break that glue off. Sometimes you cut it, but most of the time I pull it apart. Voila. And then I'm just going to turn it inside out. So now the smile is inside. So now it's going to look like a plain box. I taped the end where I tore the glue apart. And I know Joey hates peanuts. I was cleaning up one of the boxes. So I was sorting all of these. I've gone through all these boxes. I've labeled them, what's in them now. But in these blue ones, and this one, it was filled with packing peanuts. I took all the packing peanuts out. Oh, I forgot the label, what I put in there. I forgot what I put in there. Stuff that I didn't need. Yeah, this is a whole giant box full of packing peanuts. I'm not going to give them to you, Joey. I know you don't like them. I got all these other I got tons of packing. I hoard packing material apparently. I'm gonna use some bubble wrap. Oh, my tape came off my box. Oh, all right, go like that. And one thing I would recommend, perhaps, is I thought about putting this in a plastic bag, but all the ones we had were scented. I'm hoping this is going to be in a situation where it won't be left out in the rain, but hopefully covering it completely in this, even if a little moisture got in, I hope it'd be protected. And sometimes I think about like people opening a package and they're using a knife. Well, they cut so far into it that they open it and cut the items. So I need to get a little more packing material for that. So a lot of this came from people I bought from, and then they use a lot of tape. So that's another thing you got to check is if you're reusing bubble wrap, make sure it doesn't have tape on it. And so that's what I did with this stuff here. Some of that did have tape on it, but I think I got it where it wouldn't affect this. So you see how my thing's trying to fly off, but I'm not taping it. Because one thing I have found, if you tape it up, it's hard to get out sometimes. You can damage it. I've worried about damaging stuff. So Joey, I didn't tape it. Now I got to get some packing material to put here so that it doesn't get smashed. Might be a good place to reuse some of that paper you get from Lego. I always try to give a cushion around it. And then you also want to make sure you don't put so much packing material that when you close it, it smashes the package. So I kind of tested out. That's got a little bit too much give to it. We'll put a little more in there. I've got way too much of this Lego paper I got to get rid of. So I'm using Joey to dispose of my trash, right? I think that should get it without smashing it. Yeah, now all I gotta do is tape it. I think this might be more of a reason why I don't like selling sealed sets than a tutorial, because I do like to make sure they arrive safely, and even when you do everything you think you can, something can still go wrong. But let me, one thing, I don't think I've ever talked a lot about this, but have a scale, and you gotta weigh it. So this weighs 3 pounds, 8.3 ounces. I don't know if that shows up right there, 3.83, 3 pounds, 8.3 ounces. So you always round up. With something this size, it's going to be, they'll treat it like it's 4 pounds anyway, but I'll put, when I print the shipping label, I'll put 3 pounds and 9 ounces. And I should have these memorized, the dimensions. You always want to make sure, I'll turn around where you can actually see the, like, when I measure this, it's 21, so it's right at 21. You kind of really want to round up. So if it was like 21 and a half, it would be 22. This is 15. This should be 7. Yeah, it's 6.5, but I'll put 7 for it. So what did I say it was? 21 by 15 by 7. All right. And 3 pounds, 9 ounces. And one thing I like about eBay, and I wish it was like this on Bricklink, is it's not a lot of clicks. It's like I can't show you because I don't want to go into Joey's or my personal information. And to see, by default I had put what I thought it was. I guess I can show you this. Yeah, I was about to dox Joey there, but this is what I put by default, and I did pretty good guess. So my weight was actually more. It's 9 ounces, so I got to change that. And this was 21. I'll go ahead and change that. And this was 7. Change that. It's funny, it actually lowered the shipping by just a little bit. That's why this dimension here, the way the dimensions work, it's the longest, the second longest, and the third longest is the way you need to really do it. It's not really necessary height, width, and length. It's just put the longest dimension first. But if that gets over a certain amount, or the cubic volume adds up to a certain amount, it can increase the shipping. So this actually lowered it just a little bit by changing those dimensions. And then really all I had to do is hit print, and then it automatically opens the window. Again, you can't see it because I'm not showing you because it's got his address on here. And then I just hit the word print. So it's still a few clicks, but it's less than ShipStation, which other people tell me they use Pirate Ship for Bricklink. But eBay is, they do make it very easy to print the labels. You just always have to make sure your dimensions are right. So as someone who has bought a lot, so this is, I'm going in my 25th year on eBay as a buyer and a seller. and I'm 23 years on Bricklink. Should be more. I was kind of skeptical of joining Bricklink when it was Brick Bay back in the day, so I didn't join as early as I could have. But I've bought a lot of Lego sets and other items. I've I've bought. I have a haul on Trains Are Fun where I bought an item, a vintage Thomas and Friends item, and the person just took the box of the item that I bought and wrapped it in brown tape like this. He just wrapped the whole box in that brown tape. So I had a item that I had bought for the box, and then they just wrapped it. And the same thing happened with it was either Goodwill or no, it was Macari. I bought a 1970s Tommy train set. They just sealed it up with. They used clear tape, which was a little better, but I was like, I bought it for the box. So you got to kind of explain those things out. So Joey may be going to open the set that's in here, but I want to make sure that it has the potential of arriving in the same condition it was when I put it in this box. And so I hope going through this, I know it might not be the most interesting video in the world to someone, but Lego, the workers in the factory for Lego and other places like Amazon, they will never go to this detail in trying to protect something. In fact, I did think about putting it in a garbage bag because there is always the potential that something could get left on somebody's porch and a thunderstorm come up and then the box gets wet. But I think by having it wrapped the way I do, I think it'll, even if a little bit of rain hits it, I think it'll be all right. But another thing I don't think people think of, and this, I had an Amazon package that came recently, and the item, there was a box, a large box, and they just put the item in it and then sealed the box up with no packing material. So that two things happen. The item, as the box gets tilted in different ways, the item's in there rattling around. And then the other thing is, if somebody sets something heavy on top of it, it's just going to crush the box. Now, fortunately, with that one, I don't think anything happened. But that's the thing you got to think about, like with these boxes, is they're not going to be sitting there on the truck all by themselves. They're probably going to put them on the truck in an order so that when they go to take them off, like if yours is the first stop, it might be on the top. But if it's one of the later stops, it could be on the bottom. It could be on the top of another row. I don't know how they line them up. I don't know if they got little shelves in the back of their truck. But I always imagine my box is going to be under another box that could potentially be heavier. So that's why you got to have proper packing materials. It's not to keep your item from sliding around in there. Well, that's one of the things it is for. But it's mainly to keep your box from crushing under the weight of a potentially heavier item. And again, if the delivery driver decides to use your box as a step, like a ladder to get somewhere, there's not much you can do about that. Peanuts probably would be good for that. I know the scariest item I ever shipped, where my father-in-law had these neon signs. They're like beer, like Budweiser, Bud Light, or something, Miller Lite signs. They're relatively large, but not. I mean, they would have fit in this box, but I shipped them in 2 boxes. So I took a box like this that was the size of the neon sign, and I did use packing peanuts. Filled it with packing peanuts. Then I put that box inside another box with packing peanuts. So it was like double protected, and those items did make it fine. So I've had stories of people saying that their things have arrived damaged. The worst experience I had was one of the priority mail envelopes busted, and my buyer literally got an empty package. So they got a full refund. And I can't remember if I was able to resend them some of the stuff that they had ordered, but yeah, he literally got an empty package, but he got a full refund for that. That wasn't necessarily my fault, but we do an extra step now. We tape the ends of priority mail envelopes. We don't trust their glue. And yeah, and I put more than one layer of tape. Oops, sorry, Joey. I want to give your address away. I keep trying to dox Joey. Hopefully I'll edit all this out. So that was one long video of packing a single package, and I hope it proves helpful. So this is not probably for my typical viewer. This is for somebody, I don't know who's watching this video. How to properly pack an eBay order by BrickTsar. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. I'll be in a different shirt. I wear a different shirt every day this year.